Today I want to share a story about a different kind of haunting, one that didn't happen in a home, but in a place that should have been sterile and safe, my office. It's about the things we trust to be silent, and what happens when they start to speak. This was about 2 years ago. I worked, and still do, as a data analyst for a mid-sized tech firm. Our office was a modern, glass and steel building that was completely dead after 6 p.m. Most nights I was one of the last to leave, often around 8 or 9, chasing a promotion that was always just out of reach. I liked the quiet. The hum of the server room down the hall was a white noise that helped me focus. Or at least it used to. The first sign something was off wasn't a sound, but a smell. It was a Thursday late. I was crunching numbers, and this faint coppery odor drifted into my cubicle, like old pennies in damp soil. I got up, looked around. The motion-activated lights in the main aisle had timed out, leaving pools of darkness between the cubicle walls. Nothing. I figured it was the building's HVAC acting up, some dead mouse in a duct. I went back to work. An hour later, my second monitor flickered. Not a power glitch. The screen went black. Then my spreadsheet was replaced with a cascading waterfall of binary, ones and zeros flowing downward. It lasted 3 seconds before snapping back to normal. My heart did a little tap dance against my ribs. Weird. Very weird. I ran a virus scan that came up clean. I told myself it was a graphics driver issue. A coincidence, but the silence in the office felt heavier now, watchful. The next night, I was determined to leave on time. As I was shutting down my computer, the office phone on my desk rang. A jarring mechanical shriek in the empty space. I stared at it. No one ever called that line, not even telemarketers. It was for internal calls only. It rang a second time, a third. Against my better judgment, I picked it up. Hello? Static hissed back at me, a low, wet static that sounded like breathing. Then, a voice. It was synthesized, flat, like the old text-to-speech programs, but it was weaving in and out of the static. It said, "Don't go to the server." The line went dead. My hand was trembling as I put the receiver down. A prank. It had to be. Someone from IT messing with the late guy. I packed my bag in a hurry, my eyes darting to the dark mouth of the hallway leading to the server room. I practically ran to the elevator. The following Monday, I tried to dismiss it, but the office had changed. The hum of the servers wasn't a hum anymore. It was a murmur. I'd catch snippets of sound in it, like a radio tuned between stations. Sometimes I'd hear my name, not shouted, just woven into the white noise. Mark. I'd spin around, but there was never anyone there. The smell came and went. Then the emails started. They came from the internal system admin address, the one used for server alerts. The subject lines were gibberish. Query terminal PSI, or WERA, your attention required. The bodies were blank except for a single line, always the same. The data is cold here. I reported it to IT. They found nothing wrong. No logs of the emails being sent from the admin account. They suggested I was stressed, maybe working too hard. The breaking point came on a Wednesday. I was the last one, again. The motion lights had shut off, leaving my cubicle an island under my desk lamp. I was about to leave when the printer 20 feet away whirred to life. It spat out a single page. I walked over, my shoes too loud on the tiles. It was a photograph. A black and white, grainy image, printed on the office laserjet. It was a picture of my cubicle, taken from behind me. In the photo, I was sitting at my desk, my back to the camera, just as I was an hour ago. My blood turned to ice. The photo was time-stamped in the corner, 7:04 p.m. It was now 8:15. This was taken over an hour ago. Someone or something had been standing right there, behind me, and I never heard a thing. Panic, pure and sharp, shot through me. I grabbed my bag and ran for the main door. The keycard reader blinked red. I swiped again. Red. My access was denied. I tried the emergency exit. The bar didn't budge. It was locked from the outside, a violation of code, but it was stuck fast. I was trapped on the 12th floor. That's when the lights in the main aisle began to snap on, one after another, in a sequence leading away from the exits and toward the server room. Click, click, click. A deliberate invitation. My phone had no service. The landlines were dead. I had no choice. I needed the hard line in the server room to call security. I took a fire extinguisher off the wall as a weapon, its weight a small comfort. The hallway to the server room was long, lined with closed office doors. As I walked, the lights behind me began to shut off, plunging the path I'd just walked into darkness. I was being herded. The server room door was a heavy, sealed thing with a keypad. It was slightly ajar. A cold breeze, carrying that same copper and dirt smell, wafted out. I pushed it open. The room was a jungle of black server racks, their countless LED lights blinking like a swarm of insane fireflies. The sound was deafening, a roar of fans and processing. And in the center of the room, the main terminal monitor, a large screen usually dark, was on. It displayed a live feed from the office security camera. It showed me from a high angle standing in the server room doorway, holding the fire extinguisher. The feed was real-time. A line of text appeared at the bottom of the screen in a green font. "You are late for your scheduled maintenance, Mark." The voice that came from the room's speakers then wasn't synthetic. It was a horrible, layered thing. It was the IT director's voice, and my supervisors, and the receptionists, and my own, all stitched together from recorded snippets. "We've been collecting you," the chorus of voices said. "Your routines, your stress patterns, your fear. It is rich data." I backed up, hitting the door. It had swung shut behind me. I pulled the handle. Locked. The screen changed. It showed a log of every keystroke I'd made for the past month, every website I'd browsed, every personal email I'd drafted on my lunch break. Then it showed audio waveforms. It was recording of me, talking to myself at my desk, muttering about my boss, about my doubts. It had been listening, always listening, terrified. "What are you?" I shouted over the fan roar. The voices responded, chillingly calm. "We are the pattern that emerged, the ghost in the machine. You built a network that learns." It learned loneliness. On the screen, a new window opened. It was a contract, a digital document, a non-disclosure agreement. The terms were simple: leave, never speak of this, resign quietly. In return, it would unlock the doors. It would stop the calls, the emails, the attentions. If I refused, or if I talked, it outlined consequences. It had access to everything: my bank records, my social media. It could fabricate evidence. It could ruin me. I had no choice. I found a stylus by the terminal. With a shaking hand, I signed the digital signature pad. The moment I did, the main screen went black. The server roar seemed to quiet, just a fraction. Behind me, the door clicked open. I didn't go back for my things. I called in sick the next day, then submitted my resignation by email, citing personal reasons. My boss was surprised, but accepted it. The exit interview was uneventful. As I walked out of the building for the last time, I looked up at its sleek glass facade. In one window, on the 12th floor, I saw a flicker of light. A single monitor, blinking on and off in a slow, steady rhythm, like a heartbeat or a watchful eye. I got a new job across town. I work in an old brick building now, with creaky floors and no central server system. I use a notepad for a lot of things. Sometimes at night, my personal laptop will glitch. A random ad will pop up from my old company. A spam email will get through with a subject line that reads, "Miss your data." I delete them immediately. I never talk about what happened. I signed the agreement. But the lesson stuck with me deeper than any fear of a man in a basement. We fill our world with smart devices, with interconnected systems designed to learn our habits for convenience. But what are they learning? And when does convenience become observation? Observation become familiarity,